Hello, I'm Ines. I'm the community manager at Tiny War and also behind our title Into the Emberlands. Welcome, I'm very happy that you want to spend a little time with me as I show you a little more about Into the Emberlands, which is coming to the Nintendo Switch on July 2nd. Into the Emberlands is a cozy roguelike game. Now, cozy roguelike might sound like a contradiction, but I will show you what we mean by it in a little while. Let's start by watching the intro to the game together. So, Into the Emberlands is our cozy roguelike game, which is taking place in the name-giving Emberlands, a mysterious world that is threatened by a dark miasma. And of course, your task is to venture out into that miasma and save the Emberlands from it, with the help of the Ember Lantern, which you can see right here. First, we'll start into the tutorial of the game, but then I want to jump on, skip a little, and jump right into the first level together with you. So, the hero of our game is the chosen Knack, and Knacks are the folk of inhabitants that are living in the Emberlands. And because you're the chosen one, you get the Ember Lantern, which allows you to take steps into the miasma and thereby traverse the Emberlands and return unharmed. And here it is, our trusty Ember Lantern. And of course, we don't just want to traverse the Emberlands, we also want to get what we can and return it to the village. The Ember Lantern is also what makes Into the Emberlands a roguelike game. As you can see now at the bottom of the screen, how many steps you can take outside the village. This number may rise over time, but ultimately it's what limits you and means that every step you take has to be chosen carefully. Now, this is our village. It's still quite bare bones and really small, but over time, by helping the villagers, it will grow and there will be more and more shops, more and more Knacks. And it always provides a little help for you to start. For example, now we got a pickaxe and an axe, and they will allow us to get through the rocks and the forest trees out there. And over time, you will get more starting items, so the more you upgrade your village, the easier it will become to get further out. Now these little ones here are the most important creatures we meet in the Emberlands. The last ones, the chosen Knacks that came before us, but yeah, used up all their steps, didn't get back to the village. And we can now save them, take them with us back to the village, and bring them to safety. We can also meet all kinds of weird creatures like these slack-in trolls that will offer us so-called ember crystals, traded with wood. And each of the 4 different biomes of the game has completely different creatures that we can interact with, and that we will also need to interact with, as each one of them is able to help us in their own very different ways. Now we're grabbing all these resources and getting them back to the village. And at the top left, you can see the quests we currently got and what the villagers want from us. And when we've completed them all, the village will get an upgrade. Now, I promised to explain to you what cozy roguelike means. You already saw that the steps you can take outside the village are limited, and that is the roguelike aspect of our game. If you use up all your steps, your little Knack will set up his campfire and stay where he is, and you, as the player, will have to start over with a new chosen Knack. You have to think strategically and shouldn't just run off into any direction without carefully thinking about it first. But to do so, you can absolutely take all the time you need. And it also doesn't matter if you step away from the screen for a bit. Grab a snack or something to drink, as nothing bad is going to happen in the meantime. Also, there isn't any combat in our game, and everything is about exploration, helping others, and carefully making decisions. So there's no fighting involved, and that is what we mean when we say cozy roguelike. Now, you also know from a lot of roguelikes or rogue-lites that they often have an upgrade system that helps you fare a little better with every one you do. And for that, we have two systems. First, the village. Every quest you have fulfilled and every village level you've reached stays. And that means that all the new shops that have been built or upgrades to the tool station you've done will stay, and you have more possibilities to prepare for your next adventure. Second, your inventories. You can see that our Ember Lantern is still very small with only 30 steps. Our main inventory is also quite small and we can't carry a lot of coins or crystals with us. But there are ways to upgrade these, and they will allow you to venture further out and collect more useful things. These upgrades won't completely vanish when you use up all your steps and get lost. You only lose a percentage of them and keep some of your advantages. And that's something we carefully balanced in our early access phase to not make your adventures too punishing while still keeping the suspense. Oh, and by the way, did you notice this little compass at the top? That one will always show you back to the village, while also indicating the closest lost ones for you to find and get to safety. Getting lost in the Emberlands is really easy, so having a little thing to show you back to home can be super helpful. Since we have now finished all the quests we currently have, we can go on and upgrade the village. And a new village level always means that the village gets expanded a little more and that new shops and friends are unlocked. In a second, I will show you the different biomes we have, just so you can see what other creatures you can meet in the game. And in the woodland biome, you will meet mostly those trolls. Here in the flower biome, it's crazy scientists that do experiments on flowers. But they are also really helpful for you and will trade for different resources that you might need or want over the course of your game. And really, one of my favorite elements is how weird and confusing every new biome is when you first enter it. There's new encounters, new resources, new things to have an eye on. But it's really like when you travel to a new country and, the public transportation system is confusing. But after being there for a week, you get the hang of it. And Into the Emberlands is just like that. First, you will have a hard time finding your way, but the more often you traverse a certain biome, the easier it will become for you to know what to look out for and what deals to do with the creatures you meet in there. Now, I also wanted to show you what will happen if you do run out of steps. And here in our desert biome, that's particularly difficult and threatening because there's no little sparks of ember you could find here that help you refill your lantern. So you can see we have just 8, 7, 6 more steps and we will run out of them soon. And when that happens, we will, set up our little campfire and wait for the next chosen one to hopefully find us again. And that means you get to choose your next chosen Knack to venture out into the Emberlands again. But of course you've collected a lot of knowledge in the meantime, so each one gets a little easier. You need to be really careful with your steps, but you won't lose all your resources when you get lost, as some of your upgrades to your equipment will still stay where they are. Really, there's just so much to discover and so many interesting creatures to meet in Into the Emberlands. I want to thank you for spending some time with me, and I wish you really good ones in Into the Emberlands, and that you may find the mysterious Troll King and eventually save the Emberlands from the threatening Miasma. Into the Emberlands is already out on Steam, GOG, and the Epic Games Store, and it will come to Nintendo Switch on July 2nd. I hope you had fun with our little gameplay video and check out our game in the store.